Hey there, Tina here. Today we're going to get into an intermediate level class. So one way I like to think about intermediate is we get into more advanced poses. Now, what's good about the way I teach is I teach progressively. So if you're not getting into a more advanced posture, you can still build towards that posture, knowing where you can advance in the future. The pose we're working on today is revolved, which means you're gonna have a twist. Bound, which means you're gonna work on the arms somewhere, usually right behind the body. Half moon, which means balance. So a little something like this. Here's one leg that's going to remain on the ground, and then you're going to have another leg lifted in the air. While your body comes out to the side, here's your head, and the arms are going to be trying to wrap around that standing leg. Revolve, bound, half moon. Your hair might be falling all in your face, and you might have a grimace because it's an absurd pose, but it's going to be fun to get into. So with that said, if you've got blocks, they're definitely going to help you, because if you can imagine your blocks here, your hands have the opportunity to touch down onto the blocks for balance. Are blocks completely necessary for class? No. So get what you need, let's get onto the mat and work towards an intermediate version of revolved, bound, half moon. We're going to get started just sitting back on your heels. So find a nice, just easy kneeling position. We aren't going to be here for too long. The hands can either rest down on the thighs, and that gives you a little bit more grounding energy, or you can create this little bowl with the hands, thumbs to touch, and that can sometimes allow in a little more energy. So as you are resting the sits bones down on the heels, see about lifting the crown of the head taller, hugging the navel towards your spine so you've got your core engaged. And we'll just take a few breaths here to start the practice. So a nice big breath in through the nose. And then an open mouth sigh out. And then I'm going to let you take 2 more of those. So breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth. And after that last round where you exhale out of the mouth, we'll seal the lips and continue breathing in and out through just the nose. Soften the shoulders. And then we'll begin to move with the breath. So we'll place hands at heart center. And with the next inhale, we'll allow the arms to sweep up and overhead. The gaze can rise and eyes can open. Exhale, bring the hands back down to heart center. Another one just like that. Inhale to circle the arms up. And exhale to center. So from here, we're just going to let the feet shift over towards the right, and you let the hips sink a little bit more towards the left. You're going to take those arms up, breath in. We'll take a twist over towards the left, so that right hand can come down to the outer thigh, and the left arm can extend back with the palm facing up, or tent those fingertips down. Breathe full inhales, fill the lungs, and on the exhales, you find your twist. Adding a little side body stretch, so let's reach that left arm up and then all the way over towards the right. Just be mindful here that you're not letting the head drop all the way down. Keep the left ear closer to the bicep. And then return to face forward. So from here, a boat pose. You can tent the hands down, sweep those legs forward, choosing hands behind the thighs or extending them up overhead. Take a big breath in, sit tall, and then on the exhale, tap down, wrap the arms around legs. Take a roll forward, so hands return to the top of the mat, and let's find your tabletop hands and knees. So spread those fingers nice and wide, and then let's extend right leg back in the air and that left arm out in front of you. So you've got full balance. A breath in to lift the thumb, gaze, and heel. And on the exhale, we've got a crunch under. Inhale again, press and lift. And exhale to crunch. One more breath in. Exhale, crunch under. Inhale to re-extend and lower the left hand down. Let's drop the right toes back. Kickstand this left shin wider so that you can drop your right heel and then float that right arm up. Yeah, give that circling of the wrist out. And now we're going to work on a little core here. So tent onto your left fingertips. You're growing a little bit taller. And an option to float that left arm out in front of you. And the right arm might also meet you, framing the head. Lower that left hand down, right arm is going to lift up, and now a little balance. Lean into that left hand, and the right leg begins to float up and back. So you've got your grounded half moon pose. Right arm can drop around the low back, trying to find that left hip, and you just peel right shoulder open. Then re-extend, right arm, drop that right foot down, face all the way down, so you've got both hands grounded. We're gonna keep right toes planted on the mat, but we're gonna kick left leg all the way in the air, three-legged dog. So straighten through that leg so the toes are facing down and you've got square hips. Then we're going to stack the hips so that left foot lifts up, but you should still be able to see that foot. It hasn't swung off the other side of the mat. Then let's square the toes to face back down and just tap all 5 toes down to the mat. So those movements with the breath. Inhale, pick that leg up. Exhale, stack to open. Inhale, square back off. And exhale, tap down. One more, inhale up. Exhale, stack. Inhale, square. And then drop that foot completely down to the mat. So you're in your downward facing dog. Take another breath or two to wiggle out here. And then look forward. Walk the feet behind your wrists. Bend the knees deeply and find a ragdoll. So a nice deep bend at the knees for a forward fold. You can find some movements, swaying side to side here. And then return those arms long. Have some softness into the knees again. We're going to rise up to standing. So allow the vertebrae to stack on top of each other. Once you're at the top, give the arms a big reach up. And exhale, hands to heart and heel toe, those toe mounds to touch. We'll take a breath in, sweep arms up. And exhale to take that forward fold, hands to the mat. Knees can bend so that you can drop the hands completely down and chin falls to the chest. Take a step back to find your high plank pose. Let's take our first low plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, pull the heart forward. And downward facing dog, exhale. Take some deep breaths here. Take some movements. Pedal it out. And then inhale, lift heels. Exhale, bend knees, look forward. Inhale, step, feet to touch, top of mat. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to take this right foot and step it all the way to the back of the mat And then scooch this left foot a little wider and forward. So we're setting up for your high lunge. Right hip forward, arms extend up overhead. Now let's bend the elbows off to the side and then bring the forearms into touch. You can stay here, or we have that left elbow under the right one for an early eagle wrap. We'll take an inhale to lift the elbows and the gaze up. And then with your next exhale, we're gonna lean out. So a hovering lunge, reach those fingertips far forward. Gaze will be down. Then let's press back up to your high lunge and let those arms go nice and wide to release. Drop the back heel down so you come into your warrior two, and we're going to swap. So hands to hips, straighten front leg. Let those left toes face in and those right toes face back. It's warrior two, just facing the back end of your mat. With your next inhale, straighten that front leg, sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale, back out, warrior two. Inhale, take it up, and exhale, warrior two. Let's take one more. Inhale, and exhale. So now we're gonna look down to that right foot and windmill the hands down. Pick up that back heel so you're in your runner's lunge. You might walk that right foot a little wider. Left hand will stay down, right hand to your thigh. Let's take a counter twist to the right. You have the option to stack that right arm over the left. And then look back down. So we're going to inhale, back up high lunge, and transition to the top of the mat. So warrior two. Hands to hips, straighten that right leg, right toes in, and left toes forward. Now we find your warrior two facing forward again, but into your side angle. So glide out, left elbow down, right arm up, and then reach it all the way across. This right arm, once again, has the opportunity to wrap around your low back, rolling that shoulder open. And then play around with possibly going deeper here. You could let those left fingertips slide down. They could touch down to your mat. You might even try reaching that arm underneath the leg, working towards a bind. It's pretty early, so it's okay if you don't have a bind. And then inhale, unwind yourself up, warrior two. And exhale, let's take it all the way to the top of the mat. Step that right foot forward, Namaste Tahi. Breath in to bend the knees and sweep those arms up, chair pose. Let the toes be pretty light here. And then as hands come to heart center, sink the hips to a lowered chair pose, trying to keep the heart higher than hips. Let's exhale to the left. Right elbow might stay in space or drop down to that thigh. The knees are in line with each other and you're opening yourself up to the left. Next exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. Step back on your inhale, high plank, and exhale, forward low plank. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Settle in with the breath here. Let the head be heavy. And then let's lower down to your knees again. We're going to sit back on the heels. Hands can rest on the tops of the thighs or create that basket once again. Just take a few moments, possibly finding deeper breath, noticing how the body has changed in these first few sequences. And most notably, just come back to the breath. Now we're going to let the feet pick up and go over towards the left as you sit the hips a little more right. Arms up on the breath in. This time we take a twist over towards the right. The left hand comes down to the legs and the right arm extends back or settles down to the mat. Use your breath here to find your twist. Inhaling to make space, exhaling, twisting into that space. Side body, let's take that right arm up, breath in, and on the exhale, take a lean left. Again, keeping that ear and face closer to the right arm. And then come back. Let's reface forward and tent those fingertips down. So from here, it's another Navasana boat pose. So you'll pick up those feet, shift those shins forward. Option again to scoop the thighs, reach the arms. You could also go basket hands behind the head for a little added challenge. And maybe you try straightening the legs. Exhale, tap down, hug in. Then roll yourself forward again. Let's find your tabletop and pause. That left leg is going to send into the air now. Right arm out in front of you. So a breath in to lift the ends and the exhale to crunch under. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, crunch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, extend, pause, and lower that hand down. Kickstand the right shin, drop the left toes down, and now that left heel is towards center. Float left arm up, circle that wrist. So here's that balance and core work we went for. You get lighter on that right hand. You pick yourself up a bit so you can float that right arm out to the top of the mat, and then the left arm will frame the head as well. Then let's lower that right hand down. You can keep the left arm up, but now let's float left leg. So a variation of a side plank. Take that left arm, wrap it around your low back, and peel left shoulder open. Now let's release both hands down and drop the left toes down to the mat. We're going to lift right leg into the air for your three-legged dog. Kick up and back. Start with those right toes facing down, so you might lose some height. That's fine. And then stack and open. Try to press that pinky toe higher to the ceiling. Then let's re-square it off, toes face down. And then tap all 5 toes down to the mat. We'll take 2 more full rounds. Inhale, lift leg up. Exhale, stack and open. Inhale, square off. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, pick up. Exhale, open hip. Inhale, square off. And then exhale, the whole foot steps down. Take a couple moments in your down dog to shake it out. And then take a look forward and walk the feet top of the mat. So this time we're going to get into your side leg, those IT bands. So the feet about hips width distance. Let's walk the hands over towards the left to start. So that right hand is really reaching far away. Bend into that left knee so you feel a lot of the weight pressing out towards the right, and you're getting into that right IT band. You could also pick up the arch of that right foot. Soften the knees to come back to center. And then we'll take it to the right. So hands walk right, really curl the left hand away. Bend into that right knee. Hips are pressing left, and you might also lift the arch of left foot. And then lower that foot. Let's come back to center. Feel free to pedal out the legs, the feet. And then heel toe those feet in towards touch. Bend the knees, sweep up to your chair pose. And then up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's now take that left foot and step it all the way back behind you. So take a moment to set the alignment up. You might need to go a little wider with that right foot and a little further distance between the feet, and then those arms reach. Finding the eagle wrap, let's let the arms go wide. Bring the forearms in, and if you went for the full wrap, it's right underneath the left. Extend all fingers, reach up, breath in, and then hover out, exhale. So reaching those arms out in front of you, gazing downward, strong back and core. Inhale, come right back up and unwind those arms. Let's drop the back heel to come into your warrior two, and then we're going to move. Hands to hips, straighten the leg. Right toes in, left toes back. Set up your warrior two facing the back of the mat. And now inhale, straighten the leg, arms up overhead. Exhale, glide out warrior two. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. And exhale. Pause here, look down, and let's windmill those hands between on either side of that left foot. You can heel toe left foot a little wider, pause in this runner's lunge, and then let's take left hand to thigh and twist open to the left. If you reached the arm up, it would be left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. And then drop that left hand back down. So a lot of leg and core strength. Sweep up, high lunge, and we'll turn back around. Go to warrior two, hands to hips, straighten that left leg. Left toes in, right toes forward. Bend into your warrior two again, and now it's side angle. Reach out, right elbow down, left arm up and over. And here's where we're going towards at least a half bind, so that left arm can sweep around the low back. Rotate that shoulder open. You can get lighter on the left arm by letting it sneak inside that leg. And then it would go under that leg. So hands might meet underneath you, but if not, just keep rotating open towards the ceiling. And then unravel, come up, warrior two. Let's step it forward on the exhale. Hands to heart, toe mounts to touch. Then let's bend the knees, sweep the arms, chair pose. Lower chair, hands to heart center, keep the toes light here. And exhale, counter twist over to the right. So if you sink the hips enough, yeah, that elbow could drop down. Check in that that right knee is in line with the left one. And then exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. Step the feet back on the inhale, and the exhale takes you through Chaturanga Low Plank. Inhale, lifting to your upward face, and exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift heels. Exhale, bend knees, look forward. Hop or step the feet, top of the mat. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll come all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. So here we're going to work a balance and some interesting transitions. So starting with your eagle pose, find a little bend into the knees, and then that left thigh will high cross the right one. So the toes can stay tented on the side of the mat, or float, or work behind the calf. Cactus the arms, bring them in, and it's that left elbow under the right one. So I'll pause here for a few breaths. Now we're going to work towards a crunch. So you take that lean out like we did earlier in the high lunge. Sink the hips a bit, elbows may approach the thigh. And then let's unravel those arms wide. Bend the knees as much as you can to bring those fingertips down. And then you can kind of let this left leg float a little bit more off the side, but keep the cross at the thighs. We're going to work a variation of a half moon. So as straight as you can get with that right leg, let's bring right hand to hip and turn over towards the right. You could also float that right arm up. Working a revolved half moon, you would unwind, floating that left leg straight back behind you. So you could keep that right hand at the hip or keep it lifted. Yeah, and then that left leg floats. Look down, two hands to the mat. We're going to step this left foot down, sweep the right leg up in its place for a moment, and then let's drop that right foot down behind you. Cross that right foot towards the left, lower the knee, and we're just coming down to sit. So you should have the left knee facing up and that right knee bent in. Take that left foot just across the right one and we'll find a twist. Left hand back, right arm up, wrap around that knee and shin, and take a twist now left. And turn to face forward. Let's straighten that left leg out and bring that right foot to your inner thigh. So seated tree pose. Sit up tall and turn to face the left toes. Let's find the forward fold on your exhale. And then look forward, release the hands. Straighten that right leg. You can give a little shaking release. And then we'll come forward. Hands plant to the top of the mat and feet will step back, plank pose. Exhale takes you to lower plank. Upward on the inhale and downward dog on the exhale. Let's float that right leg in the air, three-legged dog. And then step that foot forward. So we're going to work towards that revolve bound half moon in many, many steps. So the first one is we'll come up to high lunge, then open warrior two. So we're going to take your side angle. So this would be your first step towards the pose. Then we have to revolve your side angle. So you can bring hands to heart center as you rotate the shoulders to face down. Then we add the twist. So you work on that left elbow coming across. Right arm lifts up and floats back. And then you try to bind. I usually need to pick up that back heel, the hands underneath you. Even if you don't have this bind, you can just reach for the bind and then we float. So look down, come off of that back leg and try to find balance. Then let's come back down, unravel yourself, hands to the mat, walk over towards the left, straighten the legs, give a little shake, maybe even a rock side to side, and just release here in this wide-legged forward fold. Take some movements as if it were your ragdoll. And then walk around to the top of the mat. Let's step back plank Exhale, low plank. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's lift heels, bend knees, look forward. Hop or step, feet to touch, top of mat, and then fold. All the way up to standing on your inhale, and hands to heart center on your exhale. So let's take that eagle pose going the other side. So a little bend into the knees. And now we've got that right thigh high crossing the left one. The toes can touch down or stay lifted or try to bind. Then you've got arms wide. Let's bring that right elbow underneath. We'll stand tall for a breath and then work on taking it out. So reaching those forearms out, sinking the hips, getting small in your eagle pose. Unravel the arms and then bend the knees enough to get the fingertips down. So the right foot is likely not wrapped behind that calf anymore. It's kind of just floating off to the side. Keep the inner thighs pretty tight though, and then work on straightening that left leg as much as it works in your body. Left hand comes to that hip, and we're going to turn to the left. If you worked on stacking shoulders, it could be that left arm floating up. Now here's where we go to your revolved half moon. So all you do is unravel that right leg, kick it behind you in the air, and work on 2 straight legs. Then release, hands down, right foot down. Let's float that left leg in the air just as a transition. Then we're going to step that left foot back, drop the knee down, shift that shin a little forward so that you can sit behind that leg. So right knee is bent facing up. You can take that foot to the outside or just in front of that left knee. And we'll take the counter twist. So that right hand back, left arm up. Wrap around that knee and shin and take your twist right. Then again, you'll unravel yourself, straighten the right leg out, and then you have to untuck this left foot to bring it to the inside of the leg for your seated tree pose. Sit tall, face that right foot, and exhale to take your fold. And we'll look up, sit up tall, right leg will straighten, give a release, and let's come forward, vinyasa. Cross ankles, roll over, land those palms, step back or hop back plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, up face. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg floats. Step that foot through. So we'll prep for that bound half moon, other side. Let's take it up, high lunge. Warrior 2. Side angle. So now we have to add the twist. Hands to heart center, you rotate both shoulders down, and then you twist. Right elbow can come down. Left arm releases around low back, and you might need to lift this back heel, work towards an arm bind. And then look down, work on floating. Come out. Unwind yourself to wide-legged forward fold off the right side of the mat. And again, just move around in a way that feels good in the body. Bring some space back. And then return top of mat. Step that left foot back. And vinyasa, low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. So here we're in your final downward facing dog. Take some movement, shift around. And then let's come to sit and return to your back. Happy baby. Take those feet, draw the knees down, shift around. Then start to set up for your Shavasana. Extending legs and arms. Closing eyes. Find a comfortable shape with the body. And just breathe. Start to reawaken the body, the breath. Move around, stretch arms and legs. Then hug the knees in and take a landing on your right side. And then come all the way up. Find a comfortable seated position. Hands can find heart center. Thanks so much for putting in the energy and taking this class with me today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified when my new classes come out. Like this video, follow me on Instagram. It's the best way to give me a thank you for class. Let's take one final big breath in. Sigh it out. Namaste, yogis.